Attorneys. Mr. Zikalala, very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Prime News on 3.
Good evening to you, and also good evening to your listeners.
What do you make of the second postponement of the handover ceremony of the state capture report, with so many people suggesting that there's something fishy in this particular postponement? What do you make of it?
Well, it is very unfortunate, especially because you must remember that the deadline was not something which was agreed mutually between the parties. In this case, the chairperson of the State Capture Commission and the president. This is a court order date that has been decided. So all this could be also maybe taken as if the State Capture Commission is in contempt of a certain court order, and certain repercussions must be there. Of course, it's understood that there may be circumstances beyond their control that have caused them to be this late. So what we would at least expect from them is an apology of saying, we apologize, South Africans. At the end of the day, this report is not only for the eyes or for the interests of the president. Actually, it's for us as members of the public to rest assured that the commission has done its job. So an apology is warranted and must be given by the commission in terms of saying we do apologize. It was circumstances beyond our control. However, but rest assured, there's nothing untoward that has happened. We did this all in the interest of making sure that we produce a fully comprehensive report which is going to be able to deal with the questions that we were asked with when we were asked to start with this investigation.
Well, for purposes of transparency, I suppose that apology also needs to be accompanied by explanations as to what really causes these postponements, because we're only told the certain challenges and we're not told what those challenges are. We're not told whether those challenges also involve amending this report or whether reprinting or republishing this report. So do you get a sense then that the content of this report, its integrity has been compromised?
Yes, it has to a certain extent. It may be some of the things which will be raised by those that would want to take the report on review within our court processes, in terms of saying, even look at the amount of delays that took place before the final report was actually issued. So it must have been maybe they were still doctoring a few documents here and there, or a few paragraphs or sentences here and there. So they must be able to show and be able to say that at the end of the day, it was nothing untoward. We were simply complying and making sure that the report is comprehensive as much as possible. All the things that you have stated in that report are actually facts, and they can be backed up by actual evidence that can be produced. Let's also remember that it's also zooming into the Security State Agency, which is a very important organ of state, and an entity which many would be looking into in terms of saying, is it able to work optimally now, especially because it has been moved from being a standalone department and falling under the wings of the president? Is there something that we can even read into that? And the contents of this report is very important in order to allay those fears. All that we want as South Africans is to rest assured or to sleep knowing that the internal and external security threats which may be facing South Africa are taken care of, and the people that are at the helm of this particular department are well trained and they know exactly what they are doing, and they're able to protect us at what time. And delays such as these ones, which are not telling us the real problems that existed, or maybe they didn't exist, are some of the things which may lead to speculation, and speculation is not good.
And speaking of speculation, the elephant in the room here is the name of Arthur Fraser, the former spy boss. And we do understand that his name features quite prominently in part 5 of the state capture report. And you spoke of doctoring here and there. And to get a sense that such doctoring also bordered around the name of Arthur Fraser?
I think on that one, the mere fact that he wasn't able to bring his evidence to the eyes or maybe to the ears of the commission is going to play a very important factor. So he would be one of the individuals who would say, there's actually information that I wanted to bring to the fore. I wasn't allowed to do that. And if you have any findings against me, you must know that I may have been able to defend myself, but by the mere fact you didn't allow me space to then come in and provide evidence, it means that you're definitely biased against me. And look at the very same instances in which you have done. You have failed to stick with the deadlines, in which I also failed to stick with those deadlines. So it is also something which can happen, that there are certain circumstances or instances which are going to occur which will prevent you from complying with deadlines in the same manner that you, Mr. Chairperson, have failed to comply. So what you're actually doing, you are actually silencing me from being able to provide crucial information that have may provided you or maybe influenced the manner in which you've arrived at your findings. So actually, the sooner this particular report is issued, the better that it's going to be able to defend itself in terms of saying there's nothing that we're hiding. We've done everything in the manner in which it is supposed to be, and it is the actual true reflection of our understanding and what we've been able to investigate based on the facts that were received by us.
Now, earlier on, we've seen the Supreme Court of Appeal President, Judge Mandisa Maya, being grilled for about 4 hours for the position of Deputy Chief Justice, which President had nominated her, well, President Ramaphosa had nominated her earlier on in the year, and the JSE now recommending her. So are we likely to see gender transformation, especially in the judiciary, with her appointment?
I think so. I think history is about to be made. We may even see our first female Deputy Chief Justice being ascending to that particular office. I think the going to or consulting with the members of the National Assembly is going to be a process that the President ought or must do in terms of the law, but I don't think there are going to be any oppositions. We must also take into account that it was a unanimous decision, so all the members of the JSE felt that it was indeed time. She's indeed and trained and fit and proper individual to take over. What is of importance, and that what I highlighted, is the need for gender equality, the need for making sure that the females are represented within those particular higher echelons within our judiciary, and also the emergence or the introduction of technology into the way in which our courts work, which is very important when it comes to access to justice. We must be able to access our courts in a manner in which is going to increase accessibility, and we must be able to make sure that the costs in doing that are well covered. Our courts are still working in a manner in which they're working in a few years ago, despite the fact that there have been numerous instances where technology has been introduced to make it easier to communicate, as we are doing at the moment. However, we don't see that being replenished or maybe trickling down into our court system, which at the end of the day, access to justice is also as equally important as being able to access our courts in all the mediums in which we are able to use, not only physical appearances or not only physically going to court in order to get your reprieve or justice.